Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about what the foundation of our diet should be. Now, we could argue about specific micronutrient breakdowns, macronutrient breakdowns, all this stuff, carbs versus fat, all these things, till we're blue in the face, and we can make good points for all of them. However, what I'm going to say, and I'm going to be very clear on this, the foundation of our diets should be animal proteins and plants. Okay? And here's what I'm going to be very clear on. Every time you see someone say some nonsense, or you see one of these quacks who push the whole carnivore diet of, oh, we don't need plants, and you've got some quack ass doctor, some fraud, some con man telling you, well, my blood work is great and I'm a world-class athlete eating no fruits or vegetables. Okay? These people, this is someone who is making money, who is trying to kill you. Okay? They want you to die. They're a bad person. You shouldn't be listening to them. They are physically trying to hurt you for a financial profit. They are evil. Okay? Don't fall for it. Same thing with vegans telling you you don't need animal source proteins. They cause this problem, that problem. None of this stuff is supported by the literature. The overwhelming amount of the scientific literature shows that, generally speaking, lean animal source proteins are amazing for health. They don't cause cardiovascular risk. They don't cause cancer. They don't cause bone loss. Okay, the data does not support these ideas. Doesn't matter that someone says, well, they've got a hypothesis that it does something with phosphorus that makes you lose. Okay, you can form whatever hypothesis you want, but you better have something in the data to support it. And it's not supported. If anything, it's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. Dairy is not correlated with cancer. Dairy is not even correlated with cardiovascular disease. You can come up with a theory as to why you think it should all day long, but there needs to be an actual association in you real human beings that actually occurs that we can measure. It doesn't. It doesn't. In fact, high protein diets seem to be correlated with better bone density. So on and so forth. Same thing with plants. All right, anyone who's telling you fruits and vegetables are whatever cause absorption or sugars, okay, they're lying to you. They can come up with a hypothesis as to why. But study after study after study after study after study after study after study consistently show that higher intakes of fruits and vegetables, these are plants, that's what we mean by plants, are associated with lower risks of all types of cancer, lower risk of cardiovascular disease. Consistently. Okay, to claim otherwise is essentially fraud. Especially if you're selling a book or anything to make money off of it, it is called fraud. And anyone telling you this is a con man, especially if they're selling something. It's that simple. So let's get over and talk about what the basis of our diet should be. This should be the foundation of our diet. Animal source proteins. Sure, we could talk about the other things. We could talk about the B12, all this stuff. You know, the stuff that kills vegans because they're deficient in. That's why they're crazy. That's why they're batshit insane. They have brain damage from nutrient deficiencies. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying it to make fun of them. I'm not saying it to be a troll. I'm saying it because it's true. And there's been data to support it. Their actual dietary deficiencies cause mental illness. Why, as a demographic, they tend to be really crazy. Okay. Animal source proteins have the highest bioavailability. And we're not talking about complete proteins versus incomplete, because that's actually not true. Someone telling you that, I'm going to question if they even looked at the science. Not incomplete proteins in plants. They just have a much lower bioavailability. It's hard to get enough of them. Protein is associated with all the things we want for body composition and recovery as athletes. High protein intake, protein overfeeding, is associated with more muscle, with less body fat, with better performance. consistently. And it's too hard to get sufficient protein to do that from plants. We need the animal source in addition to the B12, the other things in there. All right. That is high on our priority list. But when it comes to recovery, when it comes to general health, all the other stuff that we also need, it's going to be plants, basically fruits and vegetables. That is the two backbones of your diet as an athlete who is chasing body composition, performance, recovery. These are the things that we have to have. Now, I think we can make a very strong case for filling most of our calories with carbohydrate beyond that, but we can get those from plants. All right, we have a lot of options for carbohydrate. You could fill it completely with fruit if you wanted to. In fact, I'd make the argument antioxidant status and health, it wouldn't be a bad option. I've done it for periods of time, very frequently. Fruit will be my staple carbohydrate. And possibly in many cases the largest chunk of my own calories. I recommend my athletes do this. And you guys see a bunch of my athletes up here. Right? You see a bunch of my people in here. They're fit. They're strong. They're healthy. This is what we recommend to build your diets around as an athlete. Okay? Other people would make an argument for, more polyunsaturated fats to fill those calories. I'm going to argue it's not as good for performance, not as good for body composition. But you know what? Potentially inflammatory response, you might actually be pretty good there. Lowering inflammation through the body. And again, doesn't mean remove inflammation. We want a certain inflammatory responses in the body due to our training, for example. Right? We need some inflammation, but, anti-inflammatory type diet's pretty good. And that's your other option. Either whole carbohydrate sources from whole foods, polyunsaturated fats. So, you have options as far as filling that diet. People could argue if they just need the calories, they could go with more refined foods just to get those calorie needs in. I have clients who have to do that. But what's our foundation? Our foundation is always animal proteins and plants. All right, that is the basis. That is the foundation of your diet. In fact, I could argue you could eat nothing but those things if you wanted and do perfectly well. But anyway, you break it down, they need to be the foundation. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.